So, good day everyone. My name is Jamalia Akob, and in this video, I will be discussing the section 2, 10, 11, and 12, and 18 under the CMO 03-2022. So first, let's have the administrative provisions under section 2. So, Section 2 of BOC CMO 03-2022 is the operational heart of the memorandum detailing the general rules that govern the flow of goods into and out of customs bonded warehouse. So, it is divided into two main parts: the general considerations and provisions specific to common customs bonded warehouses. So, first is the general considerations cover all types of CBWs. So, this subsection establishes mandatory procedures and limitations applicable to all CBWs. Under the subsection first, we have the mandatory inspections of transfers, section 2.1.1. Goods for transfer to a CBW are subject to mandatory non-intrusive inspection, e.g. X-ray scanning at the port of discharge. So this applies whether the goods are covered by a goods declaration for warehousing WSAD or for transit TSAD. This is a key measure to enhance border security and prevent smuggling. So, allowable importations, Section 2.1.3, importations into the CBW must strictly adhere to the limits set in the CBW's approved license, covering the specific raw materials by HS tariff lines, the volume or the quantity of those raw materials. So, goods that fall outside these authorized limits are subject to immediate payment of duties and taxes. So, next is the non-importation of finished goods, section 2.1.4. Generally, the importation of finished goods for warehousing is not allowed, as CBWs are primarily intended for manufacturing, processing, or storing raw semi-finished goods for re-export. So, next, we have withdrawals for domestic consumption, section 2.1.5. Withdrawing goods from a CBW for local sales or domestic consumption is heavily restricted. So, it requires prior approval from the district collector and the subsequent payment of all corresponding duties and taxes. Furthermore, such withdrawal for local sales must not exceed 30% of the total volume of raw materials imported by the CBW for the preceding year. So, the second subsection is the provisions specific to common CBWs. So, this subsection provides rules unique to a common customs bonded warehouses and their accredited members, which are typically small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, pooling resources under one mother warehouse. So under this subsection rather, we have the mother warehouse system, section 2.2.1. A manufacturer exporter can only be accredited with one CCBW, which is designated as the mother warehouse. So, accountability for raw material, section 2.2.5. The CCBW operator mother warehouse is held directly responsible for the proper liquidation, accounting for the imported materials of all raw materials imported by its accredited members. So next is transfer sale between members, section 2.2.4. The transfer or sale of finished products between accredited members within the same CCBW is allowed without payment of duties and taxes, provided the receiving member will further process the goods or use them as inputs. This facilitates the supply chain among member exporters. Next is the premises access, section 2.2.3. The premises of both the mother warehouse and its accredited members must be accessible to authorized customs official for inspection, provided a mission order is presented. Next is accreditation period, section 2.2.6. A member's accreditation can be pre-terminated if they have no importation or exportation activity for a minimum of 1 year. So, the significance of Section 2 is crucial because it transforms the general principle of the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act CMTA into enforceable operational guidelines. The inclusion of mandatory inspections, strict limits on importation volume, and clear rules for domestic withdrawal reflects the BOC's effort to implement a full compliance regime to prevent the misuse of the bonded warehouse privilege, safeguard government revenue, and ensure efficient trade facilitation. So let's move on to section 10, lodgement, filing, and processing of goods declaration for transfer of goods to CBWs. So section 10 explains how imported goods are properly declared and transferred to a customs bonded warehouse. There are two main types of transfers under this section. So, first is the direct filing, and second is the transit transfer. In a direct filing, the the goods and the warehouse are within the same customs district. So, the warehouse operator files a goods declaration for warehousing, also called WSAD, through the E2M system. Before it's filed, an account officer checks the documents to make sure that the goods are part of the warehouse's approved import list and within the allowed limits. So, if everything is correct, the declaration is registered, assessed, and recorded under the Automated Bonds Management System, or ABMS. So, if there are problems such as wrong declarations or excess quantities, the entry can be cancelled and the importer must file a new declaration for consumption. Meanwhile, for transit transfers, the CBW is located in another customs district. In this case, a transit SAD or TSAD is used. The goods move under customs supervision and are tracked through the e-track system to ensure that nothing is lost or diverted. Once the goods are arrived at the CBW, the warehouse staff acknowledges receipt, and the declaration must be filed within 5 days. So, overall, Section 10 ensures that all goods entering CBWs are properly documented, secured, and traceable from the port up to the warehouse.